The vulnerability of students who stay off main campuses and gender-based violence at institutions of higher learning are some of the issues that came to the fore during the higher education budget vote debate.
It's horrifying that parents send their children to get an education and their children return home raped, tortured, or in conference because the thugs of the ANC are struggling to decide who amongst themselves must be next in line for a tender or to get accommodation accreditation like Philemon Lukele.
We are doing something, Honorable Chirwa, in dealing with gender-based violence in our campuses. And to date, over 11,000 students receive support services for gender-based violence. We will put out all stops in ensuring that it comes to an end. And we're having discussions with the South African Police Services through their Deputy Minister to look at issues relating to campus safety, and details of interventions around these will be made public once the two ministries have finalized them, so that sins that we've seen earlier this year at universities such as Zululands become a thing of the past.
Graduates move from one internship to the next without getting permanent employment positions. Internship, Minister, is not employment. This government needs to expand the economy.
On the public service and administration front, a new framework could be in the pipeline to address the wage bill.
The public sector wage bill is under severe pressure due to the general constraints faced by the South African economy. The situation has been aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic. It has become increasingly important to develop a new remuneration framework for the public sector, including a wage setting mechanism to better manage the public sector wage bill and ensure a greater degree of uniformity and alignment in remuneration between the various parts of the public sector.
There were concerns about the delay in speeding up wage negotiations and public servants who earn two salaries from the state.
The government, as an employer, and the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council should swiftly finalize wage negotiations for the 2022-2023 financial year. This will avoid delays to the process which impact the morale of public servants, as well as uniformity and the time frame with the financial disclosure framework on lifestyle audits.
Now, the other serious concern I got, Chairperson, is this. We have a high unemployment rate in this country, and yet there are people getting double pay from the state. They are principals, they are teachers and educators, but they are also equally councillors and mayors and deputy mayors. I cannot understand the rationale. How would you be able to deliver services to the people on the ground if you have two jobs, you are at school, you have a full-time job there, and yet you are now wanting to be a councillor or a mayor or a deputy mayor, and you're getting two different salaries? Surely this is a matter that we need to look at.
The budget vote for the office of the Chief Justice also came under scrutiny, with some focus on the independence of the judiciary.
More importantly, for the sake of our constitutional dispensation, have to ensure that the judiciary properly deals with all matters within its authority that holds the potential to undermine and erode its own independence. This would in simple terms mean that the judiciary must deal with allegations of impropriety and misconduct in its own ranks in a speedy, effective and transparent manner.
Perhaps the biggest red flag in the degeneration of the independence of our judiciary has to be the appointment of the current Chief Justice, a man who has demonstrated his incapacity to lead the judiciary for all to see over the past few years. He sees nothing wrong with mingling with politicians and in making political commentary about things that may end up in front of him in court.
I just want to draw to your attention in terms of Rule 88, reflections upon judges and certain other holders of the public office. No member may reflect upon the competence or integrity of the judge of a superior court, the holder of a public office in a state institution supporting constitutional democracy referred to in Section 194 of the Constitution, or any other holder of an office other than a member of government, whose removal from such office is dependent upon a decision of the House, except upon a separate substantive motion in the House presenting clearly formulated and properly substantiated charges which if true, would, in the opinion of the Speaker, prima facie warrant such a decision.
The ruling by Lesoma was welcomed.
We must desist from making unsubstantiated allegations. We must allow the judiciary to do their job without any fear, favor, or prejudice. Allow them to exercise the powers entrusted to them by the Constitution.
More budget votes of various departments and state-owned entities are expected next week. Mercedes Besent, SABC News, Parliament.